Hello guys, in this video we will explain the Insert tab in Microsoft Word. The lower ribbon of the Insert tab consists of multiple groups. The first group is the pages, the second one is the tables, illustrations, add-ins, media, links, comments, header and footer, text, and last the symbol. In the pages, we will see how to insert a cover page inside my document, how to insert a blank page and a page break. So, what is a cover page? A page is the first page of a book, a thesis, a research paper, a project, an assignment, a proposal, or any such document. So, the purpose of the inclusion of a cover page is to provide the general information about the document. So, to insert a cover page, I can simply click on Cover Page. I can choose a built-in template, any available template from the Microsoft Word software. Let's say, for example, I can select the following template. Here, I can write a title to my document, to my book, to my thesis, to my assignment. Let's say, for example, I write a title Assignment 1. Here I can add a date and time. Also, I can add a document subtitle here. I can include my name and also I can include the company name or the organization I'm working in. So again, to add a cover page, I click on the cover page. Then I can select a built-in template as we see here. You can customize the content of the cover page. Now, to add a blank page, as the name explain, it allow me to insert an empty page inside my document. So if I click on blank page, a new empty page is inserted inside my document. Now, if we want to add a page break, let me first generate a random text to explain the page break. So here, for example, I want to generate a random text with 4 paragraphs and 4 statements in each paragraph. Here, if I want to split the following text into 2 pages, which mean I want the first 2 paragraphs on a page and I want the remaining paragraphs, the remaining 2 paragraphs on another page. So I want to split my page or insert a page break. So if I want to split these paragraphs, the first 2 paragraphs into a page and the second paragraph into another page, I need to put my cursor after the first 2 paragraphs, then insert or click on page break. Now, as we see, the paragraphs are splitted into 2 pages. The first 2 paragraphs into a page, and the second paragraphs are now inserted into another page. Now let's explain how to insert tables inside my document. Let me first insert a blank page, and to insert a table, we can simply click on the table button here, and we need to specify the size of the table. So here I can assign the size of a table, which means the number of rows and the number of columns. The first number here, so for example 4 by 2 table, a 4 by 2 table means I'm inserting a table with 2 rows and 4 columns. A 6 by 4 table mean I'm inserting a table with 6 columns and 4 rows. So for example, I need to insert a 4 by 4 table, so I select the option 4 by 4 to insert a 4 by 4 table. Now if I want to edit my table, I want to insert more rows or more columns, I want to delete rows and columns, simply I can, while I can select a row here, or I can move my cursor inside a cell, and I need to click on the layout tab to edit the layout of the table. I can here insert a row above. So if I click on insert row above, the Microsoft Word will insert a new row above my current position. So if I click insert rows above, Microsoft Word will insert a new row above my last position, which means the position of the cursor. Again, let me first add some text inside my table to see it. Let's say we want to insert a new row above the selected row here. So to insert a new row, I can simply click on insert row above. So a new row now is inserted above the previously selected row. Now if we want to insert a new row but below my selection, below my position, so I'm moving my cursor here, I want to insert an empty row below, so I can click on insert row below. Now a new row was inserted below my last position here. Now if we want to delete a row, I can select the row here. So for example, I want to delete this row, so I can click on the delete and delete rows. Now the selected row is deleted. Also, if I want to delete this row, this empty row, so I need to click on delete and delete row. Now, if we want to add columns, so let's say, for example, here I want to add a column before this column, before the current position. So I need to insert a column to the left, insert an empty column to the left. So if I click on insert column to the left, a new column is inserted to the left of the last position. Also, I can insert a column to the right. So if I want to insert a column after this column, this selected column, I click on insert columns to the right. Now a new column is inserted. Now, if you want to delete the empty columns here, I can select this column here, click on delete, and click on delete columns, and the column will be deleted. Now let me insert a new row above this current row. So I click on insert row. Now if you want to merge these four cells into a single cell, for example, so how to merge cells in Microsoft Word, I need to select the cells that I want to merge. So I will select these four cells. I want to merge these cells into a single cell. So to merge cells, after selecting the cells, I need to click on the merge cells button here. So now my four cells are now merged into a single cell. Let me insert a new row below this row. So I click on insert row below. Now the inserted row, as we see here, is presented as a single cell. Now I need to split my cells, let's say, for example, into four cells as the default. So how to split a cell into multiple cells? I select my cell, then I click on split cell. Here I need to specify the number of columns and the number of row. The number of row I need to split this cell, but I don't want to add multiple rows. I need to split it into multiple columns only. So the number of row will keep I will keep the number of row as 1, and to split this cell into 4 columns, I need to assign the number 4 here in order to split my cell into 4 columns again. So to merge cells, for example, if I want to merge these two cells only, so I select these cells, then click on merge cells. Also here, I can select these cells and click on merge cells. To split cells, I need to select the cell. Let's say here, for example, this cell, I click on split cell. I need to specify the number of rows and the number of columns. In my case, I don't need multiple rows. I only need one row, and I need to split my cell, let's say, for example, into 2 columns, or I can here, for example, split it into 4 columns. If I click OK, now my cell is splitted into 4 columns. Now, if I click on split cell and I split my cell into one column but two rows, let's see what happens. So if I click OK, now my cell is split into two rows. Now I can split my table into, for example, two table. So this table here, I can split it into two tables. So for example, I want this one to be a table and this selected one to be another table. So here I click on split table and now my table is splitted into two tables. Now in the table tools layout, I can change the alignments of the text inside my table. So here, for example, let me increase the, by the way, we can specify the cell size. So for example, I can increase the height of my cell and I can increase the width of my cell. I will keep it as was. So to align the text inside a cell, here from the alignment section, I can change the alignment of any text. I have multiple alignments. The first alignment is align to the top left, which means my text now is aligned to the top left of a cell or of the cell. I can align my text to the top center. I can align my text to the top right, to the align my text to the left center, to the exact center, which means the center of the cell, to the right center, to the bottom left, to the bottom center, and to the bottom right. So to change the alignment of a text inside the cell, in the alignment section here, I can specify the alignment of the text. So let's say, for example, here, this cell, I want to align the text to the exact center or to the center of this cell. In this cell, I want to align my text to the top center. Let's say here to the bottom left, this text here to the bottom center, and this text here to the right center. Now I can change the text direction inside a cell. So to change the text direction for this cell here, for example, I can click on the text direction, which means now the direction of the text is changed here from top to bottom, or I can change the direction from bottom to top. The default direction is from left to right. So I can change the text direction by clicking on this button here, and also I can change the alignment of the text inside this cell. As we said here, we can adjust the column width and the row height. Here I can change the column height, or I can assign a height to my column here from the cell size. Also, I can increase or decrease the width of the cell by clicking on this option here. I can select the wall table to adjust the height of my cells equally. Also, I can adjust the width of my cells equally by adjusting these options here. Now I can add or change the borders and add shadings inside my table. So let's say, for example, I want to change the borders of this table. So to change the borders, I have many options. I can click on the borders here from the table design tab. I can select a border style. For example, this style, triple line style. I can change the border color, the border width. I can apply my option to the wall table or only to the selected cell. So if I click apply to cell and then click OK, now my border is applied to the selected cell. I can use this option here, the border painter. I can draw manually my border sides as I want. So for example here, if I click on this drop down list here, I can select a border style. Let's say for example this one. I can change the border color and I can draw manually my borders side by side. Now I can select another style, then another color. I'm selecting the border sides. Now we can choose. Let me first change the color to blue. I can choose another style, another border style using this border painter to customize my borders manually inside my table. And that's how we can customize the border of any table. Now, if I want to change the background color inside a cell or add a shading or a fill color inside a cell, I can click on the shading option here and then select the shading color. So here, if I want to shade these selected cells with a color blue, for example, I can select both cells, then click on the shading option, then the blue color. Now I can fill my cell with a color, but let's say we want to fill a pattern color, not a solid color. So to add a pattern color or pattern fill inside a cell, I can click on borders and shadings, then later click on shadings, and here in the patterns section, I can select a pattern to fill my cell with. So for example here, the LT up diagonal, I can select the color of the pattern. Let's say I want to select the color black. If I click OK, sorry, I need to apply it only to the cell, not to the table. So by selecting the cell, then going to the shadings, now selecting the pattern to fill, for example, the LT up diagonal, I can choose a color here, a pattern color. Then I need to make sure to apply my shadings only to the selected cell, not the whole table. So if I click OK, now I have a pattern fill to the first paragraph, to the first cell. And for sure, we can change the text color as we see before. In the Home tab, we can change the text color from here, or by selecting the text, then right click on this text, we can directly change the color from here of the text.